All right, I think I'm wearing the same quarter zip that I was wearing in my previous video. I swear I do laundry. That is unimportant. But my name is Aaron Weedle. I go by Aaron in the Water on YouTube, but I run my coaching business called Breakthrough Swimming. So today I wanted to walk through all the tools on my website that I offer completely for free. Okay. So these are tools that I've built and I want to give back to the swimming community, targeting triathletes, adult swimmers, just people who are trying to learn. This isn't necessarily a tool used for people like that have never swam before. This is more, I guess I have two tools. I have one for structuring swims and I have one for writing workouts. And so we're going to kind of preview through both of those. These are free tools that you can use at any point that I'm giving to you. I do also offer a $35 coaching membership. It is $35. You get personalized weekly training in the pool, video analysis, one-on-one coaching calls a week, and then also race day strategy just for swimming. Not necessarily all three disciplines. So just something to keep in mind. That is something I do offer. All right. With that, we're going to start with the free swim planner. This is kind of the biggest thing that I want to walk through today. So when you get to my website, you're going to enter in your email, and then you're gonna hit get free planner. That'll submit it, and then you can click this to go to the planner. So what this does is it takes you to a Excel page that I've created. Okay, so when you get here, there's instructions. So I'm the owner of this, so this is gonna be a little different for you. You're not gonna be able to edit it like I can, but I have instructions right here to show you. So you're gonna go to File, make a copy, and then save it as your own. So just for the sake of me not wanting to mess this up, we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna make a copy a swim planner, save it in your own drive, make a copy. So it's gonna open a new window. So now you can edit it, okay? I have my information here just in case you ever wanna come back. So what this tool does, as you can see, there's a bunch of different tabs. What this tool does is it allows you to enter in all of your information on this page, and then it spits out all of this training stuff that you can do. Okay, so we're just gonna walk through this together. So my name is Aaron Weedle. I am 24 at the time of making this video. So the start date, this is when I think this was when I created it. So we'll go ahead and put today's date. So 03/06 2026. Oh, that doesn't work. Maybe go 03, sorry, never did that. 06, 2026. I don't know. Anyways, so the race date, so I'm racing Ironman Texas, so I would put, here, actually, let's try this. 04, wait, 03, 06, 2026. Yeah, that works, I think. And then we'll do 04, 18, 18, 2026. Boom. Okay, so you see what that did? That now has shown me there's a thunderstorm going on. I didn't know if someone was breaking into my house or what was happening. So that's now shown me that I have 7 weeks to get from where I am now to the race. Okay, so that's updated. So now you're gonna enter in your swim duration. So typically I swim for 60 minutes. Not any particular reason, just typically that's about how long it takes me to swim. And then you pick your swim consistency, right? So I swim twice a week. And then you're gonna pick your level. So if you're a beginner, pick beginner. If you're intermediate, advanced, right? And then you're gonna select yards or meters, and you're gonna see that. And that's gonna be the length of your pool, right? And so if you don't know this, it's typically on your pool's website, but you can usually tell if it's longer, like an Olympic sized pool, it's gonna be meters. If it's a shorter sized pool, it can be anywhere from 25 yards, 25 meters. You just kind of have to figure it out from your website. Open water training, I suggest doing a little bit of this, but also, especially as a new swimmer, I do suggest this, but you don't have to. Primary goal, so this is important. So if you are already an advanced swimmer and all you want to do is work on speed, that's going to change your workouts, right? So you're going to want to make sure that you pick the right one that you want. So if you want to improve technique, it's going to give you a lot more drills. If you want to improve endurance, it's going to give you a lot more distance stuff, right? So you want to pick what you want to do. Okay, now you're gonna enter in your 100-meter time. So I mean, if I swam the fastest 100-meter in my life, I know when I was at my peak, it was like a 52. But right, I'm not swimming that right now. So I'm gonna put 110. Okay, and then 200 time, I'm targeting typically like 240s, right? So that's gonna adjust this time right here. And so now you go over back onto these columns here, and you can see your displayed pace, how many sessions depending on how often you pick frequency. Look, so if you do 4, it'll be 28. If you do 2, it'll be 14, and it'll just kind of do that. And it knows you're doing race preparation because you've put a race date in. If you delete this, now you're just doing general training, right? It just kind of builds a plan out. So if you have a race date, feel free to put it in there. Okay. And then just kind of input checks, just kind of checking to make sure everything's in there. And then it's showing your endurance threshold, your like the distribution of all of your workouts. Typically, you want to work on endurance, kind of your zone 2 for swimming is about, it's like the 80-20 rule. I know that's something in running as well, so if you're familiar with that. Now, the calibration page, and this is going to be where it breaks down your 100 pace into all of these, right? So typically for 1500 meters, it's like a mile, I'm not swimming that 110, right? So I'm going to probably take it out the first 200 holding a 110, but I'm going to slowly die off. So this is probably not super accurate. That's kind of where it goes back to, you still maybe want to coach, but this is good guidance. Okay. So then this is going to show you your recovery times, right? Kind of an estimate. So if you're doing zone 2 aerobic tempo, you're going to be targeting these paces right here. If you're doing sprints, you're targeting these. Speed, you're targeting those. I'm not sure why that has a 0 there. I need to fix that maybe. But next, this kind of just breaks it down as like, if you're doing an easy 25, you want to be around 38. If you're doing moderate, 30s, hard, 23s, sprint, 27s, which is because in the sprint, you'll probably get a little bit more rest, right? So, but if you're doing really hard stuff, that's what you want to target. Okay, so that's what that page does. And you don't typically need to put anything into this page, right? That's all just data from this page. So you don't want to touch this page. You're going to mess up all these formulas right here. Next, it's going to break down your calendar. So you can see week by week what this is. So it's going to give me three weeks of build and then a week of recovery, right? So that we're not overstraining. Kind of, this is typically how a triathlete would structure their plan anyways, right? And so then next, it'll have another build, and then it'll have 2 weeks of taper prior to your race, because this will set us up, right? You can see right here, those dates aren't accurate, but still 7 weeks, okay? This is the page that's super duper cool, okay? So this is going to show you week by week your 2 swims, okay? So it's going to show you endurance, and it's going to give you a set, and it's going to give you the distance of that set. Oops. Maybe we don't need to do that. Okay. It's going to give you the distance, the total distance, the intensity, and then it's going to give you the set, right? So you're going to have, if I'm working on endurance, it's going to give me a 500 warm-up mixed, which can mean anything from adding in backstroke, maybe some skull, just anything that you might want to add. Then the main set is going to be 3 400s, zone 2, right? So now we can go back to this and see our zone 2, we're going to be holding in the 120s. Now, honestly, it's a little fast for 400s. I would probably not actually put this. It's probably more like 120. And so now this is updated. Yeah, that's about right. So I want to be holding about 130s on these 400s, making sure that I'm in zone 2. Okay. And then it has that, and then it has some drill work. I think drill work is always something that's important to add, no matter what in your technique, or no matter what in your swimming. I think that it's important to have. So it has 450s sighting drill. So this is where you're going to be swimming with your head kind of up, just to work on that sighting, even though you might be in a pool. And then 450s bilateral breathing. So that would mean a 50 breathe on your right side, 50 breathe on your left side. Just something that we're making sure we're working on. And so these drills, it stays the same on all of these just because it's an Excel sheet. I can't custom make this for everybody. But if I were to go and do technique, now these drills are a little different, right? They might be the same, but they're different, okay? So we're gonna keep using endurance as this. And so then you see our recovery week, instead of doing zone 2, now we're doing 4 100s in zone 1 with 20 seconds rest. So that doesn't update either. Finding things out about this that maybe we didn't know. So some stuff I need to correct for sure, but you get the most part. I mean, obviously you can calculate this on your own. This is 500 plus 400, 900 plus 2 200s, 3 200s. So that's like 1,500 yards, right? And then these are your 2 technically taper weeks. So I would just take this recovery and move it down here, right? So this is just, like I said, this isn't maybe the most accurate thing, but it is also something just to give structure. I feel like a lot of the time swimmers go to the pool and they just have no idea what they're even supposed to do. They'll do 1,500 yards and they're doing the wrong technique the whole time. Something that is important to swimmers, especially as a beginner, is not doing long distance swims too early. If your stroke isn't correct, then doing these long distance swims is just going to really instill these bad habits of your stroke into you, and then trying to unlearn that is really hard. I would say, for example, when I was growing up swimming, my flip turns, I never really worked on holding my streamline, and then getting all the way up to college, I still never held my streamline. It was something that I couldn't correct because I didn't correct it early on, and then I just kept swimming yards and yards, and now I just have not the best streamline because I didn't set myself up for that. So really, if you're doing this and you're very new to swimming, right, beginner, improved technique, you're going to notice your yards are small, but that's okay. You're doing 300 swims plus 200 drills. You're doing 8x drill swims. You're doing the catch up and the fingertip drag. These are all to get the high elbow, really work on getting that stroke out there instead of building those yards that you feel like you need, but you really don't. You want to be more efficient in the water. You don't need to necessarily just pound those yards. You don't want to work harder. You want to work more efficiently. And I think that that's a common thing that people hear in swimming. But yeah, so this is a great tool to use, and you can kind of customize it how you want. Yeah, so that's, I think, all I have to say for this page. The progress tracker, you can take these and change them and then put the actual distance you swam. It'll calculate the percentage. So if I put 1,000 yards here, it'll calculate you only did 30% of that workout. I can add some notes right here, say whatever you want, just so you can remember, like breathing felt good, right? And that way when you come back, you can see it. Down here, maybe I need to move that over, but progress summary, it'll calculate how many yards is in the session that you've inputted on this page, how many you've done, and then percent overall, right? And then it'll just show you the weeks completed. So if you've done, you did 0 here, you didn't complete it, but if you did 300 here, it'll show you completed a week, even though maybe you haven't, right? And then this kind of just is a printable page. So you can take this and print it out just so you can see the plan. If that's helpful for you, it'll show you all your information. You could give this to, I guess, a coach if you wanted to, so that they could see maybe what you're working on with swimming. And then lastly is the instruction page. It kind of goes through and shows you how to do all those inputs, but that's what I'm doing. So that is the Swim Personalized Trainer. Please feel free to drop in the comments any questions you might have, any improvements. I think this is something that works great. I think I've used this just for structure, and I think that anybody new to triathlon, anybody new to swimming, getting back into it, kind of needing just a little bit of guidance without wanting to maybe pay for a coach, this is something that can give you that structure without having to do that. Just a reminder though, I do have coaching plan for $35 a month, right? I want it to be accessible. I feel like a lot of coaching is very expensive in triathlon. Triathlon is just already such an expensive sport, but this is something that I feel like you do 1 month of this, you get that stroke feedback, and cancel. You don't have to keep paying me. You get those one-on-ones weekly. We go over your video. If you don't have video, you can talk to me about things that maybe you're struggling with, and we can work on that together, right? Okay, so now is my next tool that we're gonna go through is my workout builder. This is something that I think is really cool that I've never seen for free, right? So it's not quite like the swim planner, But let's say you want your coach, a coach gives you a workout, like a custom workout, it's on Training Peaks, but you can't have your phone right there, right? So you need to print out that piece of paper, maybe you put it on a kickboard, get it wet, and then you can have it while you swim. So this allows you to do that. So let's say it allows you to edit all the parts of it, and then there's like a little live preview window right here. So let's say distance day, right? So that's going to change that title right there. It'll have today's date automatically. You can put the time of the swim, not important necessarily, but just in case you're keeping records of maybe when you like to go to the pool, it'll be like, when did I do that and the pool was empty? You have it on the board. You put the length of the pool just so you remember, and then you can put your default interval. You don't have to, like I said, this is just for your records. You can do whatever you'd like. So now you can edit it as warm up, skill development, preset, main set, cooldown, or custom, and then you can just kind of type whatever you want. So custom section, warm up with flip turns, right? So like you can just kind of make it whatever you want. And if you go back, it'll just go skill development, right? So you're gonna do a warm up, and you can add section goals. So if you want, or like focus, or you can just, it's like notes, right? So it adds to the side. So maybe this is like your coach just wants you to do flippers. So flippers, or I'm gonna call them fins, sorry. Fins and kickboard, right? So now on the side here, oops. Now on the side here, you can see it says fins and a kickboard, right? And then let's say you want to do 500 freestyle on the interval 130, right? Perfect. And then you can add set, you can add a break, 1 minute, you can edit that break to be whatever you want, add a set. You can also add notes here. So maybe this is a 500 freestyle where you want to do 250 free, and then 250 back, right? So that's gonna have those notes there. And then also coaching notes. Maybe in your Training Peaks, your coach has said, focus on head position during warm up, right? So now on this right here, it'll have, and I'll zoom into this later. I'm sure this is a little hard to see. This is kind of just a small preview, just so you can make sure that what it's looking like on the paper is there. But, oh yeah, and if you just want to break, you can just do that. You can symbolize it. But, yeah, so that's kind of that. And so then let's say you're ready to print, you've created the workout, you're ready to go, you click save workout. And then now it's created this page that you can just right click, save image as, oh, here's my, do that. And then you can open it up, right? Like just like this. And it's this high quality image that you can print, right? And it just comes right out. So the only thing that this doesn't have is like saving. Like if I go back to editor, it'll save it. But if I refresh, right, it's gone. So it's just something to remember. You can't really save it. So if you've made this practice and it refreshes, I'm sorry. It's just sometimes how it is. But it's a perfect little tool just to have. I feel like I've never seen something like this, but building it in a way like this where you're not using Word is helpful, because I feel like Word makes it just look weird and it's hard to format it. You're wasting all this time, right? Swimming already alone is just something that takes up so much time. You have to drive to the pool, get in your swimsuit, get in the pool, right? And then you gotta swim, and then you gotta drive all the way home, dry off, shower. It's just a lot. So having this tool where it's just fast and easy is so, so important. All right. That being said, again, I do have a $35 a month coaching program that all you have to do is sign up for. You click sign up, you fill out all this information, swimming background, swim level, and we go through it. We'll do a free one-on-one consultation, and you don't have to sign up. We can go through your stroke, we can talk about it, and if you're not interested, you don't ever have to talk to me again, right? It's just a little consultation, and if you decide that you feel like this is something that you need, you can sign up and we can work through that together, right? But these two tools right here, I feel like are very valuable and something that I want to offer to you guys as you build into this sport and get better at swimming. So feel free to leave a comment with any questions or concerns, anything that you're like, this would be cool to add. Feel free to let me know too. I'm more than happy to try and update these to get these to a point where people feel like they're actually beneficial if you guys don't see the value in them. Thank you again for watching. Again, my name is Aaron Weedle at Breakthrough Swimming. Make sure that you subscribe for more swim content. I'm very excited to bring this stuff out to you guys. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. See you guys next time.